Hey, everybody. Hope you are doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome to If You Don't Like That. I've got my NY hat on, even though not a Knicks hat. It's in honor of Patrick, a loyal viewer back in New York. And I know he's watching the Knicks and the Celtics game one. So, Patrick, that's for you, buddy. All right. Right now, the Celtics lead by 8. I've talked a lot about this in the past. I can't get enough of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I love it. I watch them all the time. The hockey games this past weekend, the 2 game sevens were unbelievable. Dallas with their barrage of goals in the third to win their series against Colorado. And then the unbelievable, unbelievable game in which Winnipeg scored 2 goals in the final 3.5, including the last one with less than 2 seconds left in regulation to send the game into overtime. And then they won the game 7 in double overtime to advance, sending St. Louis home. I just love the Stanley Cup playoffs. Give me hockey every single night. The 2 game sevens in the NBA were duds. I mean, let's just call it the way it is. Denver destroyed the Clippers, which I could have told you that because James Harden plays for the Clippers. Big game. What's James Harden going to do? What's Harden going to do in a big game? He's going to melt, right? He's going to melt. Did he melt? Yeah, he melted. It's exactly what he did. Crumbled. Denver moves on. And then, of course, the Warriors, they just had too much for the Rockets. The Rockets, this was a good learning experience for them. They're going to be very, very good next year. And they're going to be a team that I don't think is going anywhere. They're very well coached in Ime Udoka. And I think that Udoka's put a big imprint on that team. Very good coach. Very good coach. All right, hit me up. Would love to have you on. If you want to call the show, you can do so. We'll talk about the Kings in a moment. Here is the link. You can hit it and give me a call, and I'll be happy to put you on here if you don't like that. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to try a different time for a few days. That's why we're going to 5 o'clock. Instead of 8 o'clock. Hope that is okay with you. And, one thing about doing the shows now with the playoffs going on, I'm going to run into live games. There's nothing I can do about it, So you can do both. You can do both. All right, Kings coaching staff, nothing surprising me with the announced firings and not having any of the assistant coaches retained other than Barbosa. Doesn't surprise me at all. We'll see what the staff is going to look like when we get to that point. That doesn't surprise me at all. It's just a formality in the process. That's all it is. That's all it is. We'll see who Doug Christie has on a staff here when it's all said and done. Personally, I'd be a little leery of joining the staff if I'm an assistant coach, unless I'm not getting a job anywhere else, because I got to believe that Doug Christie is going to be on a short leash. And if I'm an assistant coach looking for some longevity, it's probably not the best opportunity for me. But if I also am not going to get a job anywhere else, if it's not working out where I'm currently coaching, then yeah, I'm going to look into it because I need a paycheck and I need a job. So that's how I would look at that. Grant, I think Jabari Smith would be a good fit if we can pull off a trade. Grant, have I ever been to the ballpark up here in Seattle? Thoughts on it? Yes, I have. Love it. Great. Enjoy it. I've also been to the football stadium, which I think is great, including announcing some Raiders Seahawks game in the #1 press box in the NFL, which is just a phenomenal place to broadcast a game from. I love Seattle. It's a great city. Well, it's not as great as it used to be. I used to love going to Seattle. I love eating at the Met. I love eating at El Gaucho. Love Seattle. But unfortunately, like so many other cities in America, it's gone way downhill because of the drug use, the homelessness. It's not the city that I used to love walking around, 15 to 20 years ago. I used to love going to Seattle. Loved it. Just every time we were there playing the Sonics, I would walk down to the waterfront, eat lunch down there somewhere. The night before, I'd eat at El Gaucho or the Met. Love the Met. Just love the Met. So I love Seattle, but I don't love it like I used to. I was in Seattle the last time I was in Seattle was probably 2 years ago. And it's just a shame. So, like so many other cities, particularly on the West Coast, it's a shame. Cody chiming in. Houston scored the game's final 9 points in 33 seconds to stun Duke 70-67 in the Final Four. JT the Brick says it's one of the biggest collapses of all time. I don't disagree with that. Probably is one of the biggest collapses. Once I graduate from my grad program, I'm thinking of the Met or El Gaucho. Cannot afford it regularly. I understand. It's very expensive. You know, I was using my per diem that I got when I traveled to eat up there. And then I used to love going to Pike's Place. I always used to bring back fresh seafood, king crab legs. My wife loved the smoked salmon. I love Seattle. It's a great city. Not as great as it used to be. That's just my opinion. You'll do fine at either or. You'll do fine at the Met or El Gaucho. Two of my favorite restaurants in America. Love it. Tough to beat. Really is tough to beat. El Gaucho might be my favorite restaurant in all of America. You know, I'm thinking of all the restaurants I've been to here. El Gaucho is probably number one on my list. And I used to go to the one in Portland a lot too. It's tough to beat, El Gaucho. Tough to beat. All right, Tay says Doug needs to stop the world salad that he has unfinished business. Just get over it. We want to hear what you're going to do to compete with the other 15 teams in the West. That might be all better than you. Yeah, it's a lot of junior high school stuff is what it is. You're welcome, David. Yeah, words are cheap. And Doug's not going to have a big honeymoon here. I'm just telling you, it's like not going to last that long. He's got a lot of pressure on him. You know, if you think that he's going to have a long honeymoon because he played for the Kings, go ask Vlade Divac that question. It's different, right? Different. You know, fans will separate the two eventually, just like with Vlade and his playing days and his days as an executive and the fans and everything else. The same would go true of Doug. But if you think that because he played in Sacramento, that there's going to be a long honeymoon period, I think his honeymoon period is actually going to be shorter because of his lack of experience. And because everyone knows that Vivek hired Doug instead of Scott Perry. And because of that, Doug is going to be considered aligned with Vivek in a way that he's going to have a very short leash. And I mean that. I think he's not going to have a big honeymoon period. You know, if the Kings happen to have a bad first month of the season, get off to a bad start, Doug's going to get heat like you can't believe. Just trust me. It is going to happen if the Kings get off to a bad start. Doug will be, and Vivek, they should have hired a more experienced coach. Doug wasn't ready. I'm just telling you, you know it and I know it. If you don't think that's going to happen, you're not dealing with reality. You're just not. You're not dealing with reality. Plain and simple. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, hello, Chris from Louisville, Kentucky. Did you go to the Derby, Chris? My son was at the Derby on Saturday. Sent me his pictures with his buddies on the infield. They had a great time. Did you go to the Derby, Chris? But hello in Louisville. Jake says it's going to be like a year or less. Very true. Very, very true. That's exactly what the honeymoon period will be. It's not going to last long. It's not going to last long. There, you know, I mean, as much as people love Doug, there were a lot of people that did not feel he should have been the coach. I mean, that's obvious. I would say, based on everything I'm reading on the internet and what I did on an informal poll, I would say well over half. So it's not going to be a long honeymoon. It's going to be quick. Can I give my thoughts on Greg Popovich and what he means to me in the NBA? I love Pop. I know him personally. I spent a week with him over in Serbia in 2007 in September for Vlade Divac's retirement hurrah. And it was a phenomenal experience, hanging out with Pop, eating dinner with Pop, traveling on the train down to Vlade's hometown with Pop. I got to know a different side of Pop. I mean, obviously, the players loved playing for him. I mean, he had a tremendous impact on the NBA. I don't care for his political rants. I just don't. I don't care for that. We didn't ask for them. That bothered me over the last couple of years. Not his political stance, because I don't care whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. You have a right in this country to choose the party that you want or be an independent and vote for who you want. I don't care if you voted for Trump. I don't care if you voted for Harris. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to judge you that way. I've never judged a person based on their political affiliation. Doesn't matter to me. But I don't like the rants that he went off on, just like he's God. You know, if he doesn't like something, do something about it. Go run for it. Quit coaching and go run for a political office. That bothered me. But other than that, I'm a big fan of Pop. Why is Vivek so high on Doug as a head coach? I don't understand. Hopefully somebody can ask him that question someday. I've been a Kings fan long enough. You know, you would know it's probably not going to last long. It's not about being a fan. It's just about being I hate to say this, knowledgeable on the situation. I know the Kings fans, but the one thing I think I would say, I know how the Kings fans think. I know what they want. I know what makes them tick. I know their fabric. I know their soul. That's the one thing I know. I know the Kings fans inside and out. It's the one thing I know. I know the Kings fans. I do know the Kings fans very well. Something else I know is the quality you get at New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They're available around the clock 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. Give them a call, go to their website, or go to newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. If the Kings were to get off to a really bad start, it would be ugly. Rooting for Scott Perry, he has no control over the situation except for cashing checks. I would say he has some control over the situation, but he doesn't have the control that most executives that are hired as a general manager would want. That's what I would say. 59-45 now, the Celts opening up a big lead before halftime. Woodson, question mark. Yeah, it looks like Mike Woodson would be the lead assistant. I'm not against that. I'm not crazy about that. He's certainly experienced, played in Sacramento. Jerry Reynolds speaks very highly of him. I've never met Woody, and if I have, it was very brief. So I'm not, but I would have gone for a younger, experienced coach myself. But I'm fine. We'll get. I know Rhino will ask Jerry about that tomorrow on the King's court. Jerry's coached Mike Woodson. Jerry knows Mike Woodson. Jerry, but he hasn't been. His coaching record speaks for itself. And he's just coming from Indiana. He's been out of the league for 4 years. We'll see. But he is experienced. That's for sure. He is experienced. More tradable asset, DeRozan or Levine? DeRozan. Levine's contract's going to make it challenging. It's going to make it challenging. Yeah, you can't just, make believe that contract doesn't exist. That's going to be very challenging. I do know one thing: you can't bring this roster back next year. I think we all agree on that. I mean, you played 82 games, and you got to look at everyone. There's a reason why you won 40 games, right? 61-45 Boston at the break. Then you got the Nuggets and the Thunder coming up in a little bit. But there is a reason. There is a reason why you didn't make the playoffs for, again, the second year in a row. There's a reason. Fix it. Fix it. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, all you have to do is hit the QR code or the link right here on If You Don't Like That, and we can talk with you here in just a moment. We got a couple people on hold. I'll get to you in a moment. I just want to get to a couple of other items here. Cody's saying, get ready for the NFL schedule coming up on the 15th. I'm ready for that. I love it. It's one of my favorite days of the year where I can plan my football trips. Says Levine will be a king until that contract expires. Sacramento needs to bring back the Monarchs. Not going to happen. I agree with you on Levine. I don't think you're going to be able to move him. I don't think you're going to be able to move him. Not going to happen. All right, if it does happen, I'd be surprised. I'll just put it to you that way. I'd be surprised. All right, let's get to a call or two. Let's get to Michael. Michael, what's going on?
How are you doing, Grant?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. As we all know, it's kind of strange to know that Popovich is going to be no longer a coach, but I have mad respect for Pop. I mean, 29 years. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible.
I think, but as Popovich mentions that, we can't forget about his 5 championships, especially the 2014. 2014 for him was a sweet one because of that redemption. We all know remember that year?
I don't remember who they played.
They played Miami.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, they lost with 7 games in 2013, and next year they won the game. So I mean, this team was so special. I mean, there's a reason why Popovich, the Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker have mad respect for Pop. I mean,
yeah, they love Pop. Everyone loves Pop. I've never heard a player say anything bad about Pop. They love playing for him. Yeah,
and he made them. What's that? He influenced Steve Kerr, Mike Brown, and so many of them. They all learned from Pop. What it takes to be.
His is incredible. Ime Udoka. We can go on and on.
Yeah, Ime Udoka and those things. And how about Harden though? Awful in closeout games.
Doesn't surprise me. In his whole career, he's just a flop in the postseason. I wouldn't want him on my team, and I've said that for many years.
Many years. I mean, 2018 was. I mean, okay, all right. He choked every year, but I'm gonna just accept 2018. I mean, it's my personal thought because the officials that game were terrible in Game 7. If you looked at it.
Well, the bottom line is, his postseason career, he's failed, and that's really not debatable. And I remember in the series against the Golden State Warriors, they're up 3-2, and in Game 6 and 7 against the Warriors, he just completely crumbled.
He had a chance to win in Game 6. Really?
Yep.
I mean, Game 7 was he had a chance to win and he lost. All right. I don't like Harden, okay, but I'm just only exempted one year because the officials. I mean, they may still lose if they make it, even maybe probably in the finals. Honestly, okay. All I want is fairness. I mean, I don't want to get.
Whatever. But you're talking about one game over an entire career. The bottom line is his body of work in the postseason is a failure. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a failure.
Not consistent. I just wish Harden can be consistent. I don't know what's wrong with him. Is it that his confidence is down, or I'm not sure
He's
what's
just,
going on.
some guys are made for the big moments and some guys aren't, and he's just not, plain and simple.
Mm, Curry
Michael, I
is
got to
such
roll,
a
buddy.
difference maker.
Thank you for the
Yeah,
call. I appreciate it.
you
You take
too,
care.
Grant.
All
You
right,
take
bye-bye
care.
now. Yep, you too. Get back to the chat line. You can also call the show. Grant, if Doug Christie paid his dues and was an assistant coach without being given the job to the vet, do you think he could have been a better coach with his work ethic? Without being given the job by Vivek, I mean, misread that. I'm sorry. I I, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. You're asking me a hypothetical. You know, you're asking me a hypothetical. I really don't know. What I know is what is in front of me. I think he's a very inexperienced head coach, and I think the Kings could have done a lot better. And I would not have hired Scott Perry. I would have hired a younger general manager whose career depends on his success. And I'm not against Scott Perry. Like, I'm not like, I like Scott Perry, but I'm just saying I wouldn't have hired him. I would have hired a younger general manager whose future depends on making it work in Sacramento. Scott Perry doesn't care about his future because his future's in the past is really what we're talking about. He's 61. In all likelihood, this is going to be his last job. He's got his final contract, and that's it. I wouldn't have done that. Just me. Would Jamal Murray be the best current NBA player without an All-Star? Has Jamal Murray not been on the All-Star team? I was not even aware of that. If that's the case, yes, he would be. 100% agree. Thank you. Appreciate that. Has Jamal Murray never been an All-Star? I was totally unaware of that, if that's true. Totally unaware of that. I mean, the Nuggets don't have a championship without Jamal Murray. I mean, you can say all you want about Nikola Jokic, and we know he's great and maybe the best player in the league. But, I mean, Jamal Murray, particularly in the finals and in the playoffs, when the Nuggets won their championship, was not good. He was great. He was great. He was great. Anyone out there think Denver has a chance against Oklahoma City? And by a chance, I mean, do you see them winning 2 games in the series, 3 games? Can they win 4 games? Just curious. Do you think they can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder? How about Indiana winning game 1? Tyrese Halliburton having a big postseason. He was very good, both offensively and defensively, as they take home court advantage away in game 1. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Rick Carlisle is a big-time coach. That's the one thing about Carlisle. He's a hell of a coach, man. He is a hell of a coach. He is outstanding. He really is. He may not have been the easiest guy to play for earlier in his career when he was with Detroit. And I mean, I heard some players say that he was very robotic, but guys won a championship. He's always coaching his team that 50-win seasons. Guy's a good coach, man. I mean, you have to admit, he is one hell of a coach. He really is. Hey, if you are looking to buy your home, sell your home, need a real estate agent you can trust, Connor with Element Mortgage is your guy. You got the QR code there. Get in touch with him. I'm going to put the number up for you, 916-505-1006. The team behind him, over 100 years of experience. Connor's awesome. He'll get the job done for you. He'll make the process easy. Get in touch with him, 916-505-1006. That's Connor with Element Mortgage. Said never. He is opposite of Harden, plays better in the playoffs than in the regular season. It's talking about Jamal Murray. He's big time. He's clutch. Yeah, you can't compare him to James Harden, and that's for sure. I mean, he gets the job done in the postseason. Vivek should have hired Mark Jackson. I wouldn't have hired Mark Jackson. I think the Nuggets will upset them. Jokic is a generational talent. Indiana wants it more, Grant. Why do you say they want it more? Why would you make a comment like that? Why wouldn't Oklahoma City want it? Come on now. Stop with the cliches. They want it more. You think a team's going to go and win 68 games, sweep their first round series, and then you're going to say the other team wants it more? I mean, that's stupid. Come on. It makes no sense. Anyway, that series begins in an hour. Big game one. Oklahoma City and Denver. The Nuggets coming off their cakewalk in game 7 against the Clippers. Hockey, the Maple Leafs and Panthers have started their second round. It's game 1. Toronto on the board. 1-0. I can't wait to watch that game coming up here in a couple of moments when I get done with my work. As I said, I just love watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. Love it. See that the Ravens released Justin Tucker. They drafted a kicker, and of course, Tucker's facing all these accusations, similarly to what Deshaun Watson went through. 13 seasons, the Ravens releasing Tucker. Again, it was a couple of months ago, he was accused of inappropriate sexual misconduct by more than a dozen massage therapists in the Baltimore area. It's unbelievable, huh? But I mean, he was, in terms of his kicking, there was not a better kicker in the NFL during his time. Last year was his first poor year where he struggled, but now he's facing these allegations. It's from a long time ago, from what I understand. I haven't really looked into it too much with Justin Tucker. I believe they were allegations from 10 years ago for a period of like 3 or 4 years. The Winnipeg Jets and Blues game last night was amazing. I missed watching hockey. I didn't miss it. I don't miss watching hockey because I watch it every night. I did watch Scotty Scheffler and what he did at the Colonial. He's still pretty good, huh, John? He's still pretty good. Pretty good. 100 men versus one gorilla. Who'd win in a fight? How big's the gorilla? Chris Webber's biggest lies. Well, the first one was in federal court in front of a grand jury, perjury. That's a pretty big lie, huh, when you lie in the grand jury? What are these guys doing at the massage parlor? What do you think they're doing? There should be a statute of limitations on this stuff. I'm not getting into statute of limitations and all of this. Giants are playing some good ball. How about the Giants? They are playing some good ball. How about that, huh? They're off to a hell of a start this year, aren't they? They are really playing well, Chris. They're not, I don't like watching baseball. I find it to be so boring. But the Giants actually, they're a pretty good team to watch. They're a pretty good team to watch. They're a pretty good team. Can they keep it up? I like what I'm seeing. They're really playing well. Woodson, wow, talk about hiring non-threatening help for Doug. Total Vivek move. Do I think Doug will bring back Bobby Jackson and add him to the coaching staff? It's a great question. I'm going to look at this in a couple different ways. Bobby loves Sacramento and would love to be back there. That's first and foremost. But Bobby's also looking at the owner, the situation, and if Doug were to be replaced, would Bobby get the job? Because if the answer to that question is no, I don't know if Bobby would come back. Bobby's, I think, could make a good head coach, and I think he would be a better fit for the organization than Doug as a head coach. But he also has to evaluate a situation in Philadelphia, who's coming off a horrendous year, and what kind of latitude they're going to give for Nick Nurse here in year 2. I can't answer that. Only Bob can. And I know you asked me directly, but I can't answer the question. There's pros and cons to this if you're Bobby Jackson. The cons are how long is Doug going to be the coach if things don't go well? Bobby also knows Vivek. He also knows what a mess the organization is. Like Bobby knows. He lived it. He was there. Like he understands the interference. Bobby understands that it's probably no way in the world it's going to work. Tough call if I'm Bobby Jackson. Tough call. Bobby doesn't have the personality for it. You know, wins and losses become your personality. That's how I look at it. You know, you can have a low-key personality or call it whatever you want. If you're winning, no one's going to give a damn about your personality. That's how I look at it. No one's going to care. Hey, folks, I want to talk to you about Sunrise Landing in Calusa. It's a beautiful residential community. Right now, they're having a spring sale for the month of May. Go to their website, calusasunrise.com, and check out the specials that they have for the month of May. Special pricing for the spring in this month of May. Check out these beautiful models. No Mellorews, no homeowners. Adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Good access, I-5, Highway 45, I-20. Check it out, these specials for the month of May. Great deals at calusasunrise.com and beautiful Sunrise Landing. Again, the Celts with a nice lead here coming up at intermission. Number 24, my favorite of all time, Bobby Jackson. I love Bobby. I love watching him play. Talk about a guy that played hard every play. Did you ever see Bobby Jackson take a play off? No. Great stuff. Hiring Woodson as replacement when the Kings have a losing streak and DC is fired. Well, he would be the guy if they, I mean, if Doug's, well, I shouldn't say that. Vivek's the owner. I don't know who the hell would be the guy. You never know. You never know. But they better change the roster. I mean, that's the one thing we can all agree on. They better fix this roster. They better get a legitimate point guard. They better get a legitimate point guard. Because if not, they're going to be in trouble. All right, I wanted to get in and out. It's halftime. Getting ready for the second half. Got hockey going on. Wanted to touch on the Kings. Wanted to touch on, a couple of things going on. Tomorrow, we'll do it at 5 o'clock again. 5 o'clock tomorrow, right here on If You Don't Like That. Don't forget about the Kings Court tomorrow with Jerry Reynolds. I'm sure Rhino will talk to him about Mike Woodson. That's all coming up for you tomorrow here on If You Don't Like That. Have a good evening, everybody. Enjoy the games. I'll talk to you tomorrow right here. Thanks again. Bye-bye now.